Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. Let's get started. So, are there anyone who joined newly today? I repeat, are there any students who joined newly today first time? Okay. I hope everyone is attending the previous classes. Now, let's quickly look at what we have learned in the yesterday class. Yesterday, we started looking at ArrayList get method implementation and ArrayList remove method implementation, right? Can someone tell me what is the internal implementation of get method? How does the get method works? Anyone?
Whenever we are trying to get the element of the index, first we need to check the index is equal or higher than the size of the array. If it's so, it will throw the array index of a bounded section. And if not, we will get the specific index from the array object.
How do you get a specific index from the array?
We are passing the index number to the get method.
No, I'm asking from array, how do you get an index? How do you get a value from an array? I have an array called AR. From that AR, I want to get a fifth index. How can I write?
Means AR of 5.
Yeah, AR open bracket. That is what I'm expecting. Yes.
Okay.
What is the internal implementation of a remove method, guys?
So again, here we need to check the index number to the length of an array, and if it falls under the length of an array, I mean, like if it is less than the length of array, then we will uh, uh, take that value of the index into a variable, and we shift the right side of the uh, values to the left side. Like that is one step left to the index. I mean, like
The
left index. Yeah, left shifting will be done.
We'll be performing a left shift operation. So if you are
Correct.
getting confused, the way to explain is you take an example. So you have a 5 values, and if you are trying to remove the second index, third index will come into a second index, fourth will come into third index, fifth will come into fourth index, and last index you have to initialize it to null, and then you have to reduce the index value, correct? If I do not reduce the index value, what happens?
If you do not reduce the index value, the index value will be stayed as it is. And again, if you want to insert a data into that array, so it will not. I mean, like what do you say? Like it will throw an index out of 1 in case of array, but in case of ArrayList, it will again increase the size to the half of its initial capacity.
And in middle, there will be a blank null object, right?
A null object, correct? Yes.
Yeah, which should not be the right way, right? Yeah. This is what we have seen in the yesterday class. Now, apart from this get method, remove method, add method, we also have a contains method, right? In the array list, do we have a contains method?
Yes.
Yeah. So now, for example, if I ask you, sys out L dot contains 10 or 20. What is the output of this line number 21, you think?
True.
Okay.
True.
So that means what you think the implementation of this contains method?
The contains basically check the
Boolean.
yeah. I mean the list whether that value is object has value is present or not.
So if I have to write contains method in my customary list, how can I write?
So we have to iterate each and every element of the array, and we have to check the equality of the value what we need to check. I mean, like,
Right.
we are expecting.
So that means though you are calling it as array list, where are we storing the data?
Object array.
Object array.
Object array. So contains method means you need to iterate over the object array, and then you need to write one if condition if a of I, a open bracket close bracket of I equal to the past object. If it is matching, return true and then break. I mean, you just need to return true. If it is not, then iterate it continuously. And after iteration of all the elements in the array, if it is still not matching, return false, right? Now, if I am asking what is the size, what should be the implementation? So we have a size method. What is the output of line number 22?
It should be 7.
Okay, then what should be if I have to write this size method in my customer list? How should I write? What is the implementation?
I can easily
Again,
return
we
the
need to
index value. I can return it because we are maintaining the index value there, right?
Yeah.
We can directly return the index value.
Yeah, this is what I've been saying. See, I have explained the add method, get method, remove method, which is little complex. Now, by having the knowledge, you guys are able to explain the contains method and size method, right? Did you guys I mean what you call have read this anywhere, or by the knowledge of whatever we have discussed about the array list, were you able to answer it? Did someone told you about this contains method implementation, or did you read any blogs or something?
No.
So that means now some people have asked a question, right? Will it be enhancing my skills? Will I be able to clear the interview and all, right? So now, see, the answer to that question is no one is going to tell you all the interview questions. If a person is telling that, he is telling lies, right? Because no one can guess what. See, I can tell you out of 100 questions, whatever I am giving, maybe a 60% of questions can be asked, but I cannot tell you 100% of interview questions that can be asked. You can guess it, but even if you prepare for 1,000 questions, 1,001 question can be asked in the interview. But if you prepare for 1,000 questions, it will give you the ability to answer the 1,001 question, right? The same thing. So now, so now, can I say that now, if anybody is asking any method of array list, can you guess it? What happens? What can be the implementation? And can you start trying it, writing the custom code?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. What about others?
yes, Karthik.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
So yeah. Now let's look at. So I'm not going into all the methods, guys, because it's not meaningful to learn all of those, right? So we have many things to look at it. Now, what is the difference between, say, now array list allows duplicates, correct? We'll come to that later. I can in my custom array list, I can write a condition saying that not to allow the duplicates also. Okay. But for now, I'm not going into that. First, we have learned array list. We have written a custom array list. Now let's learn what is a vector. What is a vector?
It is a dynamic array which thread set. It is unsynchronized.
Any other answers? What is a vector?
Vector is a class, it is a thread set.
Okay. So the difference between an array list and vector is whenever you are, see, vector and array list, both are implementations of list interface. Am I right?
Yes.
And then what is the difference whenever you are adding a element, if the capacity to the array list, if the capacity is full, then it increments by 50%. But vector increments by 100%, correct? So that means in add, there should be an add method in the vector also. So if you go to the add method internally, it is calling grow. In the grow, they are incrementing the size with a 100%. But whereas in the array list, they will increment by 50%. That's the one difference. And what is the other difference you can see? Difference between array list and vector, whatever you have learned.
Null is possible.
Even array list also null is possible. That becomes a similarity, right? Not the difference. Yeah.
Thread safe.
What is meant by thread safe?
I think like we cannot do a modification concurrently by 2 different threads at one time.
Okay. Can you write a code for me for that?
We
I
have
mean,
to write the
I'm just,
synchronized block. of
yes,
it.
yes, I understand. See, if you look at the, see, the way I'm asking the one who answered it, that thread safe is correct. But have you realized what is a thread safe by programmatic approach anytime?
No, I have never experienced it. No.
Okay, okay, fine. I will explain. See, I'm not, see, when I ask a question, don't think that I'm targeting that person. I'm just trying to know how much you know so that I can explain from there. Now, if you look at array list, see, one word you know that array list is not synchronized, vector is synchronized. Agree?
Yes.
So in, see, what does it mean is in the, do you see the synchronized keyword in the array method signature of array list? Add method?
No.
No,
No.
let us take not only add method, any method you take, remove. Do you see the synchronized keyword?
Mm-hmm. No, sir.
Do you see the synchronized keyword? So that's the reason array list is not synchronized. Okay. Now in the vector, do you see the synchronized keyword in the add method?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go to the remove. See, all other implementation would be the same. See, synchronized keyword. Get method is also synchronized keyword. Now, what is the internal data structure? How do I know? Go to the vector, correct? See, I am calling a constructor. Look at here. Line number 146. What do you think? The internal data structure of a vector?
Object of array.
Object array.
Object array. That means all the implementation is same. Only the difference is vector methods are synchronized. Array list methods are not synchronized. Agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now let us see what is a synchronization. So this is related to thread topic, but still I'm explaining. It's a core Java only, but since many of the people doesn't know, I'm explaining. Now, let us take one real-time example. Those who are attended of my thread class, they might be knowing it. Let us take one bank account. So there is a bank called HDFC, and Karthik is having a bank account in the HDFC. Okay. Now, Karthik is trying to withdraw the amount, withdraw. Okay. Using ATM. Okay. I am trying to withdraw 8,000 rupees. My bank balance is 12,000. Okay. And I'm at the same time using Google Pay, I'm trying to deposit. Okay. For I'm trying to deposit 5,000. So can someone tell me what is the balance after the two transactions have completed? This is a scenario that generally we face in our regular life, right? I mean, these two transactions, withdraw and deposit, are happening at the same time. What is the balance after the two transactions have completed?
5,400.
5,000?
400.
How do you get 5,400? All are 12,000, 8,000,
Oh,
5,000, right?
12,000. I thought
9,000
of 1,200.
Okay.
9,000.
9,000.
9,000. Yes.
9,000. Okay. Next. Any other answers?
You cannot predict it.
No. Okay. Now, yeah, thanks. Whoever is not speaking, please go on mute. So now, what is the scenario I am giving you is withdraw is a one transaction, deposit is another transaction. Now, I am guessing that generally, if this scenario happens in your life, if you go and check the balance is, so both the transactions are happening at the same time. That means when withdraw is work, so you're trying to withdraw, you kept a ATM card inside the ATM machine, and you're trying to enter the amount and click on OK. At the same time, your salary is getting deposited or your friend is depositing some money to your account. It can be possible, right? Can these two transactions happen at the same time? When I say same time, it can be nanoseconds, milliseconds. Can it happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are possibilities.
Yes. So now when there is a possibility, what do you think? For example, if I am assuming that if this transaction is happening, now your 12,000, this is one thread, correct? I mean, one mode of transaction, withdraw ATM. 12,000 minus 8,000, we are withdrawing 4,000. Okay. Now, what I'm saying, both can happen parallelly. Now here, if this is happening, 12,000 plus 5,000, 17,000. Okay. Now, But in real life, do you get a balance as a 4,000? Or for example, now in these two transactions, what I'm saying is two transactions are happening at the same time. So whenever the transactions are happening at the same time, I mean, these two are independent transactions. Agree? This is a independent and this is independent, correct?
Yes.
Now,
Correct.
when these two transactions are independent to each other, after the transaction is happening, if, for example, if you see the bank balance as 4,000, what do? Immediately you will scold the bank like anything, right?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, for example, if you see the balance as 17,000, what will be? You will be so happy, right? Even though you have withdrawn 8,000, your bank balance is gone beyond your limit, correct? But but in the real time, these things will not happen. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, even though withdraw transaction and deposit transaction is working on the same time, millisecond, nanosecond, everything, both are happening on Karthik account only, correct? Real life should happen when a thread, let us take this can execute, both are happening at the same time, but still when ATM thread started executing withdraw, then Google Pay thread should wait for the withdraw transactions to complete. After completion, what is your balance? 4,000. On top of this balance, this 5,000 will be added and your balance will be 9,000. This is one scenario. Or let us take Google Pay started executing. Now, then ATM thread should wait for the Google Pay thread to complete. So 12,000 plus 5,000, total 17,000. Out of now this is the latest balance. Now this ATM will wait for the Google Pay thread to complete. Now from this 17,000, I will take out 8,000. So the answer is 9,000. So can I say this is how your balance is accurate in your real life? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now that means what is happening here? So if two threads are trying to execute on one account, correct? ATM thread and Google Pay thread are trying to access on one account, even though it is the same time. What should happen in the real time? One thread should wait for the other thread to complete, right? So this is nothing but a synchronization. So the synchronization in Java is possible through synchronized keyword. Now, what I meant by that is, now ArrayList is not synchronized, vector is synchronized. So what, in order to understand, we'll create a two threads. Let's create quickly. Let me create some sub package. Please carefully observe the code carefully. See, I am creating a class. So I'm creating one thread called ATM thread. How can I create a thread in Java? Extends thread class, correct? Now, does anyone know how to visualize a thread? Yeah, let's do it. So whenever you are extending a thread class, you should override the run method, right? Now, or let us take not only ATM thread, let's take thread 1. Okay. Let me create one more thread 2. See, in order to look at the visualization, at least you need to have more than one thread. Okay. Now, what did I say? Now, in this example, both the threads, ATM thread and Google Pay thread, are they working on same account or different account? Same account. So now, for example, Karthik is doing a withdraw, and let us take KK Kanakarao is doing a deposit. Do you need a synchronization?
No need.
Why?
Operating on the different objects.
Yes. So when the synchronization should come into picture, if more threads are working on a same object, correct? Now I have created 2 threads. Now, how can I make sure that the threads are working on a same object? Let's create main class. Now, what did I say? Let's create main. Now, now let me create a thread 1 object. Thread 1 T1 equal to new thread 1. Okay, let's create thread 2 object. Thread 2 T2. How to start a thread? T1 dot start
Start. Yes.
and T2 dot start. Okay. Now see, 2 threads are there, but can someone tell me, are these threads are working on a different object or same object? Did I pass any object to these threads?
No.
Now, but in order to understand my scenario, synchronization, what should I do? 2 threads should work on a same object, correct? Now let us understand to these threads. Let me pass list object. List L equal to new array list. So can I say I'm creating an array list object?
Yes.
Now, how can I pass this array list object to both the threads? How can I pass? So can I pass to the run method? Can I add an object like this?
Yes.
No.
Can I add? Run method
No,
does
no.
not take a argument, right? See,
Yes,
run
we
method.
cannot add.
Yeah. How can I add the? How can I pass the arguments then?
From line number 11 and 12 in the constructors.
Okay, I can go to the. So I can create a constructor. List integer L. This dot L equal to L. Can I pass like this?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Same thing I should do it for second thread also, right? Let's do it. Thread 2. Now what am I doing now? Let's go to the thread 1. Now in the thread 1, let's do. Now let's make the size of the thread as. See, now can I tell that both the threads are working on same object now?
Yes.
Now if I do the same thing like this. Now tell me, both the threads are working on same object or different object?
Different.
Now you understand the difference, right? Yeah. Now let's keep only same object. Done. Now let's go to let's make the array list size as 10. Okay. Now in this thread, L dot add 10. So in the thread 1, I'm adding it this position. Okay. Now in the thread 2, also I'm calling the add method. Now let me execute these threads parallelly and see what happens. Now, can someone tell me what is the definition of a thread first of all?
So it is an individual process that runs separately.
Okay. Any
Sequential flow of execution.
Okay. Any other answers?
The independent path of execution.
Yeah. So the definition of a thread says thread is a independent path of execution within a same program. This is a definition of a thread, guys. Many of the people doesn't know. So thread is an independent path of execution within a program. Now let me show you that. Now let me right click debug as Java application. Now, if you look at, see, the way to understand threads is look at the debug window. And this is not that easy in the IntelliJ. If you are working with Eclipse, you can easily understand. Now, if you look at left-hand side, how many threads are executing? Thread main. That means we know that you might have read that main method is also a thread. Now, can you see that thread? What is the name of a thread? Main. That means how many, can I say it is a single thread execution now? How many threads are there now?
Only one.
Currently it is one.
And that is also a main thread. Now, see, whenever you create a thread object, will the thread will be created?
Yes.
No. See, I have created a thread object, line number 12 and 13. Did I create a thread object, T1 and T2? Yes. But do you see, what is the thread I told? Independent path of execution. Do you see any other more executions here?
No.
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 But so that means which one is responsible to create an independent path? The start method. Now, whenever you call a start method, independent path of execution will be started, and that independent path of execution will start from run method. Right? Let's look at here. Now, I am doing T1.start. See, do you see? See, earlier only thread main was there. Now, thread main is present in line number 15. This is one flow of execution. Do you see thread 0 has started and it is executing what line?
14.
Line number 14. Is it an independent path?
Yes.
So see this, see, when I say independent path, see main method is executing line number 15 and thread 0 is executing line number 14. Don't complete it. Go to the main method and then click on F6 again. So can I say one more thread has created?
Yes.
Now, earlier you have seen only one execution, but do you see now different executions? Correct? That is the reason I told the definition of a thread is nothing but thread is an independent path of execution within a same program, right? So do you see the independent path or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's look at so now. In this L.add, what are you, where it will go? It will go to the ArrayList add method, right? Let's go to the ArrayList add method.
Sir, why all the three are in suspended mode, sir? All the three.
No, don't go by that.
Okay.
It is a just naming convention. It is not suspended. It is executing. Okay. Now, so what I'm doing is, see, thread 0, whenever I click on add method, can I say currently what is my object? Past ArrayList. So can I say it will go to the ArrayList add method? Correct. Now, let's look at here. Let's come to this if F6. See, now my thread 0 is executing ArrayList add method, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now let's go to the thread 1. Here also what I'm doing, ArrayList add method. If I click on here, so both are going into the add method, correct? So now you tell me which element, see both, can I say now both the threads are trying to add a element at a time, agree?
Yes.
Now, which element, see whenever you're trying to add a element, first element will go to 0th index. Now you tell me which thread will add the element to a 0th index? Thread 1 will add or thread 0 will add? There is an ambiguity, correct? You cannot guess it. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So now what is that? See here, ArrayList add method is not synchronized. What does it mean? Multiple threads can execute at a time. Look at here. Thread 0 is executing add method. At the same time, thread 1 is also executing. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this is a problem, correct? See, for example, if the same thing is happening in your real-time application like Google Pay, withdraw and deposit, then what would be your balance output? Either 4,000 or 17,000, which is it right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, getting a 4,000 as a balance and getting a 7,000, 17,000 as a balance. Is it a right approach?
No.
No. So that means when one transaction is happening, I mean, if it is a multi-threaded environment, another thread should wait, right?
Yes.
So that is called synchronization. But is the ArrayList synchronized? No. Since it is not synchronized, multiple threads can execute at a time. But what is the precaution? I mean, repercussions of this one? If multiple threads are executing, what do you think? What will happen?
Ambiguities.
Yeah, there is an ambiguity. You cannot guess the output, correct? Output may be invalid. Now, what did I say now? Vector is synchronized. Now, instead of ArrayList, can we change it to a vector?
Yes.
And see what happens. See. Now let us debug the same program. See, let's remove this. Yeah. See, thread 1. See, main thread is executing. T1 dot start means it will go to the thread 1 dot start method. Okay. Now T2 dot start means it will go to thread 2 run method. Done. Now when I say add method, which add method is getting called? Is it a vector add method or ArrayList add method?
Vector.
Vector.
Yeah. Let's go to the vector class. Where it is? Yeah, vector. In the vector, so I'm putting a breakpoint. Now you tell me which thread will execute. Which thread? See, both the threads are currently in a run method, correct? Both the threads are trying to call L.add10, L.add20, correct? I'm adding a different object, right? Now, both the threads are in the same line. Anyone just tell me which thread will try to execute.
Vector.
Yeah, both are adding to a vector.
Thread 1.
Yeah, thread 1. So now what I'm doing is I'm starting executing thread 1. So whenever I click on add, so can I say it will go to the vector add method?
Yes.
See, it went into a vector add method. Do you see a symbol here, lock?
Yeah.
That means what happened? This thread 1 has acquired a lock on what object? Vector object, correct? Now let's go to the thread 0 and try to click on F6. Now, are you able to go into that? So that means your thread 1 is trying to access your thread 1 is accessing the add method. So what is happening? Thread 0 is waiting for the add method to complete, correct? See, it went into a stepping mode. Yeah, those who are not speaking, please go on mute. Yeah. So now carefully observe here. Earlier, both the add methods, both the threads are add method is executing concurrently, right? But here, if you look at when thread 1 started executing, what happened? Since it is a synchronized block, it has acquired a lock. What is a lock? Object lock. So now thread 1 is executing the add method on vector. So vector object, whatever the object that you have passed. So it has acquired an object lock. Now what the thread 0, if thread 0 is trying to access it, what is happening? It is waiting, correct? So that means now your output can be accurate, correct? So now thread 1 will complete and thread 1 will add the data as a 20 to the 0th index. Done. Once you complete this method, see, thread 0 started executing, correct? So can I say now, what is now in multi-threaded environment, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer a vector or do you prefer a array list?
Vector.
In multi-threaded environment, vector, correct? So this is meant by a thread safety. So array list is not thread safe, vector is thread safe, or array list is not synchronized, vector is synchronized. So now if it is a web application, what do you prefer? Vector or array list?
Vector.
ArrayList.
In web application is array list because web application itself is each request. See, that means let us take Facebook. Okay, you click on Facebook is a web application. Any web application you take, each request itself is a thread. So your environment itself multi-threaded environment. You don't need to go for again vector, right? So that's the reason in your projects. See, most of the projects that we write are web applications only, right? You have a UI is React or some Angular or JSP, and the backend is controller. So there you will most frequently use array list, not a vector, because web application is a multi-threaded environment already, because each thread is a separate request. When you click a button multiple times, multiple requests will come. That is nothing but it's a multi-threaded environment. So, but if you are writing a batch programming, that means you are processing around 1 lakh records or 1,000 records or 1 million records, then you need to go for a vector, right? This is a difference between vector is synchronized, array list is not synchronized. Hope you understand. Any questions? The one who answered it, now were you able to visualize it?
Yes, sir.
Any questions, anyone?
Hello.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the last point you said. In the web application, there are every request will be treated as a thread. But regarding batch application or 1 lakh or 1 million record that
The
you said
web
that
application, say in web application, in your application, you open that your application in a Chrome browser. and one more, you open it in an Edge browser. You take one page, like any HTML page, you go to the same Google Chrome browser and then Edge browser. You click on the two buttons. Then how many requests will come to your backend? One or two? Are you there?
Yes, yes. I'm thinking that you said same browser.
No,
One is
different
Google and
browser. Yeah. See,
yes,
see, you are
but
opening
the page
application.
will be the same.
Yes.
Page will
Or
be
you
the
can
same.
take,
Suppose
yeah. Or you can take different page also. For example, you're opening login page application login page in one Chrome browser and register page in another browser. How many requests you get? You
two
get a
requests because
two breakpoints to the backend, right? So if it
yes,
is so that means each request is a for each request you are getting a deep breakpoint. I mean debug point, right?
yes.
So that is the reason it is called each request is a thread in web application. So it doesn't matter whether you are using a same page or different page. Each time you click one button, your request will come, correct?
Yes, yes.
So for example, now I am clicking a login button from or register button or home button in Chrome, and I'm clicking a home button in the Edge browser. Both the times I will get a request, correct? That means it doesn't
Yes.
matter how whatever the operation that you are doing, a request is getting generated. Each request is coming back to your web application. So the web application is called as a multi-threaded environment. Okay. Now,
Yes.
when it comes to a batch, for example, you want to process a salary. So do you see if, for example, let us take TCS is having 6 lakhs employees. What do you think the HR team will go to the each person and calculate a salary for every month? Then what do? They write some program that should run end of the month automatically, right? And it should process 6 lakhs employees. That means you are writing one program. That program should run for 6 lakh times, correct? 6 lakh employees, and then it should process it. So that is nothing but a multi-threaded environment. I mean, you are writing a batch program. That is called a single program can be called as a batch. So in that batch, you are processing 6 lakh records. So then you have to use a multi-threaded. I mean, you need to go for a vector, or you need to go for a concurrent array list, or a thread connection. I mean, thread pools, single thread pool, fixed thread pool, all those thread pool concepts, you can use it over there. Hope you understand.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Sir, but vector is outdated, no? Still we can use it, sir, vector?
Yeah, you can use it. No one is going to stop you. You can use. See, you are not using it doesn't mean that it is outdated, right? So vector is not outdated, guys. Vector, we don't use it because, see, you tell me how many of you people are not working on an web application, you tell me. Nowadays, everything is HTTP protocol, correct?
Yes, sir, APIs. Yeah.
Everything is HTTP protocol. So in order to meet the HTTP protocol, what do? You do a web application, right? Have you done any FTP protocol or any other protocol?
No, sir. No.
FTP. Right? HTTP, right? HTTP means what do? You create a, say everyone is telling Spring Boot, microservices, everything. What does it mean? It's a web application only, right?
Yes, yes.
So that real-time web applications are multi-threaded environment. So that's the reason you don't get an opportunity to use vector.
Correct, sir. Correct. Yeah.
Okay. It does not mean that it is outdated. It's there. It's outdated means they should have removed this vector in the latest Java, but still it is there. Okay. Now, if I want to write a custom vector, how can I write? I have written custom array list. Now I want to write custom vector. How can I write?
Just we need to add the synchronization key.
Can I copy this custom array list code?
Yes, yes.
So I am copying. It doesn't mean that you should copy, right? I request you guys to please try it, correct? So that your skills, I mean, someone asked like, I am very poor at programming. The way you need to improve is, you can write your on this entire code, you can on your own. Now, what is the change you need to do? all these methods, you should keep it as synchronized, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, whoever is not speaking, please go on mute. Yeah. So we have written a custom vector too, right? So that's the beauty. Right? So we are 14 minutes behind. I'll not be able to start the new topic. So in the tomorrow class, we are going to look at so the most frequently question that can be asked in the interview is sorting array list. They may ask you, see, let us take here, you have 100, you have 20, 300, something. Now, is this sorted? If I print it, it is not sorted. So write a program to sort array list. This is one way of asking a question. In this array list, you have an integer. But can I also say that, can I create to group multiple objects together, I'm using array list. Now I have 10 employees. 10 employees. How can I hold all the employees together?
List of employees. List.
So can I say in the list, I should create my generics as employee, correct? Now,
Yes.
emp list equal to new array list. Now, if I am holding multiple employees together, what does it call? Employee. I mean, see, now let's create employee will have int emp id, string emp name, double emp salary, correct? There can be every time, like whenever you get new variables, you will add it. Agree? Yeah. Let's create source, generate constructors using the fields. I'm creating a constructor. Done. Now let's generate setter getters. Generate getters and setters. Select all this. Done. Okay. You can keep it as a private also, but I'm not putting. It's up to you. Now let's go to this one. Now here, when I say employee list, that means what should I add? Should I add? Can I add like emp list dot add 10? Is it right?
No, we need to add the employee.
So the generics is telling that you are adding an employee. So that means you need to create an employee object. How can I create an employee object? New employee. And I'm having a constructor 1, 2, 3. Employee name is Karthik. And employee salary is some 10,000. Okay. Now, if I want to add multiple objects. Now, can someone give me your name, please?
Raju.
Chiru, sir.
Yeah, let's take Raju, 20,000, Chiru. Okay, anyone else, please?
Kanaka.
Okay, one more person. It's just a name, guys, nothing else.
Ramesh.
Ramesh. Another two more names, please.
Rajshekar.
Prajakta. Prajakta.
Okay, just a minute. Can you spell out, please? Raj Datta, right? Okay.
Pra, PRA. Jakta. JTA.
Just a minute. Am I right?
No. Prajakta JK
JK.
TA.
Okay. Okay, fine. Now, so now here, what is the difference between this array list L and this array list?
It's an employee custom object.
Yeah. So now here, if I'm asking you write a program to sort array list, anyone can sort it immediately, correct?
Yeah.
Now here, what are the different questions that you will get? Yeah, they may ask you write a program to sort array employee list by employee ID, correct? Some people might ask this one. If you answer this, they'll ask write a program to sort employee list by employee salary, correct? They may also write a program to sort employee list by employee name, right? And they may ask you write a program to sort the employee salary descending, right? So employee name or employee ID descending, correct? These are the various questions that can be asked. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in the tomorrow class, we are going to look at all of this. So the work for you guys for today is, you might in the core Java, you might know the concept called comparator and comparable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just brush up your skills on what is a comparator and what is a comparable. And when should I go for a comparator? When should I go for a comparable? If you know this one, then answering these questions would be easy. I repeat, so the work for today is, what is a comparator? What is a comparable? When should I go for a comparator? When should I go for a comparable? Even if you do not know, just try to research something. I will be explained tomorrow. And because based on this one, you can answer all these questions. And these differences of comparator and comparable and answering all these questions are very important. Did anyone face this question in any of the interview or any question,
Yes.
something like this?
Yes, sir, in the interview part. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
But
I'll
they
be
asked in
explaining.
JDK 8, sir.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can do it. Once you know the logic, you can do it with a Java 8 also, not a problem. In Java 8, you have a sorted method. That sorted method also takes a comparator. If you know how to write a comparator, you can write with the Java 8 also. Okay. So we'll be discussing this tomorrow. And tomorrow will be the last demo class. If you are interested, please do enroll. So
Hello,
does,
Karthik.
yeah.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
When there are two threads you shown at the time of start, T1.start and T2.start, that time at the left side panel, you showing that now the first time only main thread was there. After that, when T1.start, T2.start executed, then we see two threads are differently,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So T1 was there, T2 was there. Suppose you clicked on the suppose T2 and that time the lock symbol in the T2 section we seen, right?
Yes. Yes.
So whatever means that debugging path I shown by you first time only, but whatever I have read, the at the time of more than one threads are there, but who one will get the chance of execution? It is decided by scheduler or some another mechanism.
Yeah.
But
So
when
that's, for example, if you run this program, see, whatever I have shown you is that first array list methods are not synchronized. So that's the reason both the threads are able to access the add method, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So because there is no synchronization mechanism. But now in the second time, what I'm doing, I'm trying to explain you the synchronous mechanism. And I have shown you some locks method. So that means one thread is accessing one synchronized block. It has acquired a lock on the object, not on a method, right? I've shown you that.
Yes, yes.
Now, it leave about T1 or T2. But in order to, can you go on mute? Yeah. In order to show you that lock mechanism, I have debugged. If I do not do the debug, can I explain that?
No, you cannot explain. But I just want
now
to
the question is, while doing the debugging, I am able to explain it. Now, whenever you're doing a debugging, the which thread to execute is in whose hand? In my hand only, correct? I can execute T1 thread, I can execute T2 thread, correct? So
Yes.
So when
yes.
you are debugging for your understanding skills, because the control is in your hand, so whichever the thread you start executing, that thread will start executing first, because the control is in your hand, because you are debugging. But if you run the
Yes.
program, we cannot decide which thread will execute, right? Whichever the thread
Yes.
that has a operating given the first chance by the operating system, that thread will execute, and then it will complete the process, and then other thread will execute.
Yes, means you clicked on the thread 2, that's why thread 2 get the chance first. And suppose
Yes.
if you click on the thread 1, then thread 1 will get the chance. While debugging, thread 1 will
Yes.
get the chance first, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yes, got it.
So
Thank you.
let me quickly show you that as well, if possible. I think this is not the method. See, 3 1 thread, 3 2. So both the threads started. Now I will go to the thread 0. Okay, and I'm calling add method. See, add method has executed, right? And now I'm going to thread 1 and try to click on F6. Say it is waiting, correct? So
Yes.
because you are debugging, the control is in your hand. But if you run a program,
Okay.
the operating system will decide.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So this is a link, guys. Whoever wants to enroll, I hope everyone have received this email, right? Have you guys received this email?
Yes, received.
Yeah. So if anybody who is watching in the YouTube, if you haven't received it, I request you to take a screenshot of this. So in YouTube, you can watch the previous videos. And if you want to do the enrollment, this is a process you need to follow. So, I mean, this is the account and this is the Google Pay number. You have to do the payment according to the batch that you want to join. Entire batch is 10,000 with a 1 year access. And the duration is 3 to 3.5 months. And you have to send that email to this email ID. Just mention your name, WhatsApp number, timing, and attach the payment screenshot. And then you will receive an email, confirmation email from the Ashok IT saying that you have enrolled, and they have created 129 DSA. All the people who have enrolled for this course will be added to this WhatsApp group. And tomorrow is, as I mentioned, right? Tomorrow will be the last demo class. And beyond that, the Zoom link is going to change. And whoever is enrolled for the course, they will be given the access. I mean, they will let you know how to join the further courses. You will receive a call from the Ashok IT. They will tell you how to join from Thursday onwards. And if there is a change in direction, I will let you know through the WhatsApp. Any questions? Are you guys able to understand the way I teach?
Yes.
So the way of teaching would be there for the entire session. Don't think that these are the demo classes I am teaching like this, and then once you pay the fee and the teaching would be different. No, it is not like that. I follow the same thing. And
Sir, one question is like if we mention the DSA in our resume, so can we expect more call?
no, see, you don't need to. You can mention you are good at data structures and algorithm, but you will get some calls from the product-based company. But at the same time, they will ask you more questions on the DSA. You should be ready for that.
Okay.
But see, generally, if you go for a product-based company, right? Any bank, they focus more on the core Java and then the data structures, whether you mention or not. And
Yes, sir.
service-based company, they don't require data structures. Some people might ask, but it is not mandatory.
So is it good or not, sir, if we mention in our resume?
You can mention, yes, you can mention. But when you mention that, you should be well prepared. Because see, if you are mentioning, see, whatever you are mentioning in a resume, they'll focus on more on that, right?
Yes.
If you say that you have done AWS certification, some people will do the AWS certification by reading the dumps. But if you mention that in the resume, that means you are certified. So they can ask you depth knowledge, right? So that means mention that whatever you know better. See, if you mention now, you may not be good at that, maybe, or may not be, right? But once you know the knowledge, then if you are mentioning, you have a courage, right? I mean, yes, I know it. I'm mentioning, and it will boost up your confidence.
Yeah.
So once you know the topic, you can mention.
Okay, sir. Got it. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Guys, are there anyone, my previous batch students, like can share the feedback on how will there be any difference in the demo classes and non-demo classes? Can anyone share the feedback?
Hi, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, sir. This is Kankara. I'm part of Karthik's sessions on multi-threading and Java. And the way is the same. What you expect, what you are seeing demo, that's the same entire the session. And the good thing is that you will get, if you get any doubts, you will get perfect there itself. And he will not hesitate to answer any type of question. Because and assure that you will get the good knowledge from him. That's it.
Yes, Harshit, you're pursuing third year BTech. Yes, DSA would be really good, Harshit, because nowadays in the campus interviews also, you guys are getting Flipkart, Amazon, Visa, TBS, all these companies, right? They look at data structures only. So to get your, see, I'm not saying that 100% you will get the job in those one, but to once you complete the written exam, and when you go for a I mean, there are hacker rank round, or when you go for an interview, this will definitely help you. Okay. Any other students of mine from the previous classes would like to share any feedback? Yeah.
So actually, one of my friend was, previously was part of your DSA batch, so he did suggest me to join that. So he's in right now, he's in product-based organization right now, and like he's using the DSA model, so that's why he was that.
Can you please be little loud?
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So one of my friend was in previously was in your DSA batch actually. So he did suggest me to join.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so he's in currently product based organization, and yeah, so
Yeah.
I think like I'm a working professional as an experienced person, more than a 3 years experience. So once I complete this DSA, will that be helpful by adding the DSA in the resume?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Because like currently I'm using the Java backend and working on that. But actually I thought that DSA will be more helpful for in future when I'm adding.
Yeah. See, frankly speaking, if you know the data structures, see, I'm not talking about joining of my class. It's up to you. It's if you like it, you can join. If you don't like it, leave it. Okay. But see, core Java is very important from the interview perspective. Okay. Once you are, see, when many people are good at, they think that they are good at core Java. And when you want to start the interview preparation, directly they will start with learning the Spring Boot, microservices, AWS, DevOps, Jenkins, all these things. But when they go for the interview, they will realize that the interviewer will start with a core Java. They will realize that they are not that good at core Java. I mean, answering the programmatic questions or in-depth knowledge of core Java. And then they will come back and brush up the skills of core Java. Does it happen? Did anyone
Yes,
of
sir.
you?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So see, many of the interviewers will look at the core Java skills. The more good at core Java will see learning a Spring Boot. How many days it will take? maybe hardly 15 days, correct?
Yeah.
So microservices, another 15 days, right? So once you learn the Spring Boot and microservices, is anything is going to change after 1 year also?
No.
No. Maximum you need to have the project experience. You can learn, say, by joining any of the course, you can learn the project experience also. Or if you are good at writing this code, you can write one project on your own and then you can learn it. Right? Learning the frameworks is not a big deal, guys. Learning the core Java, collections, threads, and then basics of data
Oops.
structures is very important. Because in the even if you are good at core Java, if you say that I know the knowledge of Spring Boot microservices, but I haven't worked in the program projects, still they'll take you. There are some chances, because this Spring Boot and do you think that every project that you go, you will create a new microservice, or do you write what do you do? There will be a project already. You will be writing a code inside that, right?
Yes, existing.
Yeah. What is the code that you write? Core Java code only, right? If condition. Maximum people will write for loop, if, else, while, and then some database connection, right?
Yeah.
Right? So that means that comes under what code? Core Java, right?
Core Java.
Yeah. Spring Boot microservices is important, but people think that Spring Boot microservices are only the important things. No. First, core Java is the very important thing. Once the core Java, if you are good at core Java and threads is very important, guys. And then you come to the data structures. And then you go to the, see, you can learn these things parallelly. Morning, core Java and data structures. In the evening, Spring Boot microservices, if you are really interested. Yeah. So the basics are important to crack the interview, and once you crack the interview, working in the project is also a big difficulty, right? So just like cracking the interview and not able to write the code is a problem. But if you understand these basics and all, right, so it would be helpful for you. Wherever you go, you can excel in your career. It is not because I'm teaching. I'm just telling you with my experience. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sir, okay, we understood that core Java is important in writing the code, but now what's the DSA, where it is useful to understanding the logic or to write the any algorithm? I mean,
yeah. So for example, let me ask you, you have now, there are some there is some data structure you need to create. Now, you have given a scenario of getting a data and display the data onto the UI. Now, how do you get the data? See, now you have to organize, right? Say, I want to, let me give you a scenario. I want to show you. So, for example, I want to create, I will select the employee name. Okay. Whenever, see, this employee name is a drop down. Okay. Employee name is a drop down. Once you select the employee name, employee can have employee information, correct?
Yeah.
And then department information and some other extra what do you think? Where address, correct? He can have permanent address and temporary address, and some other many informations will be there for that employee, right?
Yes.
Marital status, a nominee, insurance, blood group, all these are information. Once you select the employee, all this information should be shown on the UI. Now, so now if you look at here, one employee can belong to multiple departments, correct? See, for example, if I take environmental science, that environmental science teacher can teach computer science and then electronics and mechanics also, right? Now, if you look at employee information is stored in EMP table, correct? Department information will be stored in DEP table. Address will be stored in ADD address, correct? And marital status information will be stored in personal information personal table. Now, how do you create a data now? Now, this is the scenario you want to do. Now, can I say now, first you need to create a data structure, correct?
Yeah.
So, and then using the data structure, you need, when I say data structure means, now you have the data into a different tables. Now you create some structure and then send it to the UI, then you can work on it, right? Now, how do you create this? If this is a scenario given to you, how do you work?
First of all, I mean, it is coming from different database. So we have
Different tables. It's a one database only, but different
yes,
tables.
different
Yeah.
table. So we are retrieving from the different tables
Yes.
with that employee name, particular which employee we want.
Yeah. How do you do that? Where do you keep? Do you use the array list? Do you use the hash set? Do you use the hash map, tree, graph? What do you use? That comes a problem, right? So now see, there can be multiple addresses, correct? Permanent address is one. See, address is a table. One record for permanent address. One record for temporary address, correct? So that means what do you need to create here? List of address, correct?
Address, yeah.
Okay, done. After that, department is multiples, correct? List of DEP. And employee is one. Employee information is only one, correct? Employee object. Now, personal information is also one, correct? Personal.
Yeah.
Personal and employee info. Now, so all these are for only one person, correct?
Yes.
Now, how do you store this data now? See, that this is one object, this is one object, this is one object, this is one object. That means all these objects you need to keep it in. For example, if I am using a hash map, inside this hash map, what I will do? I will keep the employee ID, correct? And what is here? What I will do again? I can keep array list as a object, or I can create one more hash map, correct?
Yes.
Here internally, I will put another hash map, and inside this hash map, what is my object? Hash map will have a key and value, correct? The key is employee info. Will come, this employee information object will come here, right? And one more record will be department DEP info, department object, address info, address info, address object, correct? I mean, list of address, correct? The list. Now again, next I will keep personal info, only personal one object, correct? Now, so first I'm creating this hash map. I'm keeping this hash map as a value in the main hash map. So in this main hash map, what is the key? Employee ID.
Employee ID.
So can I say this is your data structure now?
Yes.
Now, how do you know this? By knowing the importance of all the data structures, right?
Yeah.
This is where this skills comes into picture. I just gave you one simple example, but there are many difficult scenarios will be there. Now, once you send this to the UI, so in the UI, so how do you map? When, or let us take employee ID you are selecting. Once you select employee ID, then how do you get the information? Hash map dot get, you pass the employee ID, whatever is selected, 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
And corresponding, what you get? Value as a hash map object.
Yes.
You get a hash map, but inside this hash map, you have again hash map dot get employee info. You will get employee info, department info, department address, and personal info, and then you can display, correct?
Yes.
So this is one scenario. Now, how do you get that? It is not that so easy, right?
Yes.
If you know the data structure important, then you will start working on it, right?
Yes.
Now, for example, I don't, now I want to, for example, I want to duplicate. So there are multiple addresses are there. I want to, so I don't want to display the duplicate addresses. Then instead of list, I should go for set, correct?
Yeah.
Set does not allow duplicates, right? So that's this is how the data structures will come into a picture. When I say data structure means you don't need to create a graph, you don't need to create a tree, but whatever the data structure that are already present, hash map, hash table, or list, set, a linked list, concurrent hash map, all these things, it will give you the, see now, as I told you that vector. Now, if I am telling you that I am writing a multi-threading batch, then what do you prefer, array list or vector? If I am writing a batch, what do you prefer? Vector.
Vector.
Yeah, vector. So that means you have the, now you know the knowledge and you know which one would be the best suitable for what scenario, correct?
Okay.
Understood. So that knowledge you will get it. Any questions?
Thank you, sir.
So if no question, that's all for today, guys. I have taken 15 minutes more, but sorry for that. So if you are interested, please do the enroll. Tomorrow will be the last day. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Have a nice day.